All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless Dave here, talking real music in real time for a few real people out there, just like you and just like me. Guess who I'm going to be talking about? Any guesses? It's Halloween, so it's a mystery, right? So before I get to talking about the Guess Who, I wanted to show off this album here, Wheels Within Wheels by the band Vitalines. Vitalines. Sounds like something you would take as a supplement. Give me my bottle of Vitalines. Anyway, this is Robbie LeBlanc's latest project. Robbie is one of the great ones. He is just a vocalist who, in his current age bracket, is still able to sing like he did 30 or 40 years ago. It's absolutely remarkable. This is melodic rock. It is reminiscent of Foreigner, maybe some REO, maybe some Journey in there, maybe some Toto in there. So again, a lot of this stuff is out there and nobody seems to care. But Robbie is such a great singer that you need to care about Vitalines. There they are. Or there it is. Wheels Within Wheels. It's not about the book of Ezekiel. Okay, just putting it out there. The spoiler alert, it's not about the book of Ezekiel. All right, so the Guess Who? They're suing each other, or at least it appears that Randy Bachman, musical genius, Burton Cummings, another musical genius, they've had enough. They let this brand go years ago, and this is very reminiscent of what happened to the Little River Band. Very similar. And I'll explain why it's similar. And look, I'm not trying to deprive anybody of earning a living. I was accused of this when I decided to say, hey, you know what? The original LRB, geniuses, absolute genius. And, the current lineup, okay. But, I understand they're out there trying to put on a good show for people to bring them back to a better time. But at what point does it just become a tribute band? All right. I'm not saying a cover band. With LRB, I would say it's the LRB tribute band or something. You could come up with another name and still go out there and say, hey, we were playing the music of the Little River Band, right? But they're out there with the name, and legally they have a right to that name. I mean, the original guys, they've given up. They're like, yeah, we can't win that lawsuit. Maybe not too smart at one point when you're giving this over to somebody to, hey, can I have the brand? Sure, you can have the brand. We're done with it. And that's kind of what happened with LRB. And it appears very similar in the situation with the Guess Who. Now, the two guys who are getting sued are Jim Cale and Gary Peterson, Gary is a member of the current lineup. He is the drummer. Okay, he looks very much out of place. I'm just being honest. It's easy to pick out Gary in this current Guess Who lineup, all right? And no knock on Gary as a drummer or anything like that. Gary has said things like, this is the best music we've ever created, meaning this latest Guess Who album. And by the way, I was kind of interested in showcasing the music and talking to the band, and they blew me off in the worst way possible. So I have no qualms about reporting this story. It was very disappointing. And it's because of my politics and the fact that I don't love everything. You don't love everything unconditionally, so I critique things. If I don't like it, I'm going to tell people I don't like it. Simon Cowell has made a living on that, although he's softened up in recent years because he can probably make more money by not being honest about things. It's just the way of the world. So Peterson is the only original member still performing with the group. The lawsuit accuses him and Cale of concocting a deceptive scheme. That might be the title of this video, because I need views, folks. So if you could watch the videos, would be really helpful. So if I say The Guess Who, accused of concocting a deceptive scheme that might get, 10 or 20 views. And the scheme has allegedly tricked fans into buying tickets to Guess Who's shows, thinking Burton and Cummings are still performing with the band. Burton and Cummings say fans are instead getting a cover band. Ouch. The suit also accuses Cale and Peterson of replacing original photos of the Guess Who with pictures of Peterson's version on streaming services and of using songs written by Burton and Cummings to promote the current lineup's tour. Well, of course, they're not going to use this new material because nobody knows it. The radio stations aren't playing it. They say all of this has left them unable to tour and has tarnished the band's legacy. All right, so that's interesting. Cummings and Bachman are seeking in excess of $20 million. They want a judge to force Cale and Peterson to inform the public and venues of the truth of who's performing. With this lawsuit, Randy and I hope to set the record straight and protect fans from imposters trying to rewrite history. This is Burton Cummings. Even after we're gone, the legacy of the Guess Who will live on, and we want to make sure that legacy is restored and preserved truthfully. Bachman adds, anyone presenting and promoting themselves as the Guess Who are clones who are ripping off our fans and tainting the legacy of the band. It's about time for the real story to come out. Now, will they have success? Because the Little River Band did not have success, and this is almost a carbon copy of their situation. In fact, the current touring lineup of LRB have been out there for like 20-something years, I believe, at least 20. And every attempt to kind of wrestle everything back into the hands of the original guys, this is all going to depend on how the brand was transferred over to Gary Peterson and this guy Cale. That's what this is going to be about. They may have success. Now, if they own the brand, they can promote the brand any way they want to. Now, if they're using pictures of Randy and Burton to represent their current lineup, or if they're promoting their concerts with the original songs, it's very similar to the Little River Band. I don't think the current lineup, though, of LRB was using any old photos of the band. I don't think. I mean, maybe, but I don't know how successful a lawsuit is going to be. It depends, again, how ironclad that transfer of ownership was and what it entails. Does it entail all of the prior music that the band made? I mean, the songwriters these days, it's tough because songwriters are sending their songs over to companies now. They're basically being purchased, lump sum purchase. And then what happens is that marketing company ends up putting out commercials with the songs in them. And, the songwriters get a big chunk of change, at least at the beginning, but that's it. And this is going to go on forever. That's why a lot of these guys are like, look, I can't do anything 100 years from now. So I might as well sell off whatever I have. In this case, again, this was a brand that everybody thought was dead, because everyone thought with no Burton Cummings and with no Randy Bachman, it's not going to go anywhere. But lo and behold, just like LRB was much more nameless and faceless than the Guess Who. The Guess Who had these two musical kingpins. By the way, did I mention that the Guess Who, the original lineup, is not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? It's insane. I mean, I went from a college radio station to classic rock. I went from listening to and playing Echo and the Bunnymen to playing Share the Land by the Guess Who. And I'm like, whoa, this is good music. And I hadn't really paid attention when I was younger to Who It Was and all of these songs, because pretty much everything, Clap for the Wolfman. We were playing Clap for the Wolfman. That's how deep into the Guess Who catalog we were. By the way, very appropriate song for Halloween today, Clap for the Wolfman. So anyway, this is all gonna boil down to whether that original agreement is ironclad, and if it mentions things like using photos and using the likenesses and promoting concerts with the original music and the original musicians. I mean, they're out there with the name of the band, and they're not packing, large venues playing this new material that they have out there. And like I said about the new stuff when it came out, nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to play it. Classic Rock gave it a mention, and that's interesting too, because this isn't the original Guess Who, and they're not going to play any of this stuff on their classic rock stations. Now, again, Gary Peterson is still in the band, all right? And this other guy, Cale, I think he's probably still around, but not in the band. So we shall see. And yeah, do I want, roadies not to be able to earn a living touring with this current lineup? Do I want, t-shirt vendors not to earn a living? No, but this is the original art that these guys made. And that's why they say it's a cover band, because these guys aren't replicating. They don't have a guy that sounds like Randy Bachman or Burton Cummings. They don't have a guy who sings like Burton Cummings in this current band. And that would have been the first thing you do. If I'm Gary Peterson, I try to find a singer who can at least sound like Burton Cummings. But they didn't do that. So in any event, folks, concocting a deceptive scheme. That's what the lawsuit says. We'll see if it goes anywhere. Before I finish up on this video, on this Halloween, here's something that's not spooky at all. Vital Lines, Wheels Within Wheels. And again, not about the book of Ezekiel. This is my buddy Robbie, Robbie LeBlanc, who is just, you want to hear a guy who can sing. He might be able to sing in the Guess Who. Who knows? He could probably sing for just about any band. He's just that versatile. Also, don't forget about Modern Retro Radio, modernretrofm.com, playing the music that other radio stations refuse to touch. I don't know if they played the new Guess Who. I think I originally advised them against it because of that interaction I had with them. It was just unnecessary. They're not getting a lot of publicity, so even if you don't like me, you could have went on here and talked about your new album and why Randy and Burton shouldn't be suing you or something like that. But they didn't want to do it. So whatever. All right, folks, I'm done. Thanks for watching. God bless you all. Pray for peace. Pray for peace. Don't take sides. Just pray for peace in the Middle East.